In the heart of Europe, a country vanished from the map for centuries, finally won its independence. But the man chosen to lead it wasn't interested in building a new future. He was obsessed with reviving the past. For 32 years, he has defied revolutions, Western sanctions, and the will of his own people. This is not just the story of a nation. This is the story of one man's relentless, cunning, and often brutal fight to stay in power. This is the story of Alexander Lukashenko.
Загубите первого президента, это будет начало вашего конца.
The Soviet collapse left a power vacuum. Into it stepped Alexander Lukashenko, a former collective farm director. With a singular talent, he spoke the language of the frightened and the nostalgic. He ran on a promise to restore Soviet-style order, to fight the mafia. He won with over 80% of the vote. An interesting fact, he was the only deputy, the only one to vote against dissolving the Soviet Union, just 3 years earlier. He did not enter the presidency to build a new Belarus. He entered to salvage a lost one. In 1996, just 2 years in, Lukashenko engineered his constitutional coup. A referendum granted him the power to dissolve parliament, rule by decree, and appoint every key judge. The parliament that resisted was besieged by his special forces. Here's a telling detail. He revived the old Soviet KGB, kept its feared name, its methods, made it a personal instrument of control. The press was muzzled. Independent newspapers found their printing houses mysteriously losing power or being declared fire hazards. He was no longer just a president. He was the Batka, the father. A system was built where every lever of the state answered to him alone. By 2004, the constitution said 2 terms. His solution? Another referendum. The question was a masterpiece of manipulation. Do you allow Lukashenko to run again, and do you accept a 5-year presidential term? It bundled a gift of lifelong rule with a fake concession, a shorter term. Of course, it passed. The cruel irony? The Yes campaign slogan was "For Belarus," a phrase he would later have people beaten for chanting in the streets. In 2006, after his 3rd victory, the youth erupted. They camped peacefully, waved a flag he had banned. They called it the Jeans Revolution. Lukashenko's answer came not with words, but with the nightstick. In a pre-dawn raid, riot police stormed the tents. A chilling fact, the Oman forces that carried out the beatings were reportedly given new, imported boots beforehand, a reward for loyalty. The message was seared into the national consciousness. Protest would be met with ruthless violence. The world finally reacted. The United States issued Executive Order 13,405, blocking property of Alexander Lukashenko. The European Union banned him. He was a pariah. But Lukashenko had prepared a survival strategy. He took the West's punishment and presented it to one man as proof of his loyalty: Vladimir Putin. See what I suffer for our shared cause? The payoff was immense. Russia provided billions in subsidized oil. Belarus bought it cheap, refined it, sold it to Europe for full price. The profit flowed straight into his budget. Sanctions meant to isolate him made him a strategic asset. Then came 2020, an election so blatantly stolen it sparked a national awakening. For weeks, hundreds of thousands, the streets were rivers of people and of light. It was the greatest threat to his rule in history. A key moment: the workers at the Minsk tractor plant, the heart of his Soviet-style contract, went on strike. The regime's very foundation shook. He survived by unleashing terror. Torture in prisons, forced exile. With the West's doors sealed shut, he made his final, fateful bargain. In 2022, he fulfilled it. Belarusian territory became a launchpad for the invasion of Ukraine. A grim historical echo. The last time this land was used as a major invasion route into Ukraine was 1941, under the Nazis. Lukashenko, who built his myth on defeating fascism, had now enabled a new war from the same ground. So, Alexander Lukashenko remains the master tactician of survival. He is no longer just a dictator, he is a geopolitical fixture. He outlasted his contemporaries. He weaponized Western pressure. He turned his nation into a client state, a military base. He rules a country where the KGB still has the same name, where the Soviet past is official policy, where the future is held hostage to one man's will to endure. He didn't just resist history, he bent a nation's trajectory to secure his own reign, becoming truly the last Soviet.